always new at 6, embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is mounting a re-election bid. Henyard made the announcement in a post on her Facebook page.
South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard appears to have lost control of both governments.
Re-election launch party to the Tiffany Henyard's re-election campaign has sparked widespread conversation, but not for the reasons she might have hoped. Once again, Henyard finds herself at the heart of a political storm in Doe, Illinois. While her supporters continue to rally behind her, critics are questioning her leadership and raising concerns about her handling of key issues. The pressing question remains, is this the next chapter in her bid to retain power, or the start of a determined political resurgence? Ongoing.
Well, for the first time in many weeks, Dalton trustees and Mayor Tiffany Henyard held a public meeting together, but not at Village Hall.
For the first time in weeks, Dalton trustees and Mayor Tiffany Henyard held a public meeting together, but not at Village Hall. On November 16th, Henyard launched her re-election campaign with a party that came with a steep $50 entry fee, a high price for a small-town mayor's event in a community grappling with financial mismanagement and a deficit reportedly in the millions under her leadership. But the costs didn't stop there. Supporters could donate up to $5,000 to the campaign, with a tiered system determining access. A $35 resident supporter donation wouldn't even grant party access, while higher tiers like bronze supporter at $150, gold supporter at $5,000 catered to those willing to shell out big money. In a town where economic hardship is palpable, and businesses have reportedly been shuttered over alleged campaign contribution demands, such fundraising tactics have raised eyebrows. Re-election launch party to the ongoing
Dalton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now she won't.
Tiffany Henyard's tenure as mayor of Dalton has been mired in controversy, with critics accusing her of treating the town as her personal domain, using its resources to intimidate political rivals, fund an extravagant lifestyle, and neglect the village's growing financial crisis. Once boasting a general fund balance of over $5 a million in 2022, Dalton now faces a crushing deficit exceeding $3 a million under Henyard's leadership. This stark financial downturn has raised alarms. But it is the alleged misuse of public funds that has truly captured the attention of residents and watchdogs. Reports claim Henyard has treated village credit cards like a personal bank account, charging thousands of dollars on platforms like Amazon, Walgreens, and Wayfair. While public purchases from these retailers aren't inherently unusual, the scale and nature of her expenditures are highly suspect. One particularly shocking instance involves a single-day Amazon shopping spree totaling $43,000, highlighting the troubling financial mismanagement that has defined her administration.
Tonight was a special board meeting because business has not gotten done at 2 previous meetings, so that's some progress there, but this meeting was not without its fair share of tension.
The sheer magnitude of this expenditure defies any plausible justification as being in service of the public good, sparking widespread speculation that these purchases were more about personal indulgence than municipal necessity. In a town already struggling to make ends meet, such reckless spending sends a troubling message to taxpayers who are bearing the weight of Dalton's worsening financial health. Critics argue that Henyard has positioned herself not as a public servant, but as a self-styled super mayor or even a dictator, prioritizing her own interests over the well-being of the community she was elected to serve. This unflattering characterization of Tiffany Henyard's leadership has only deepened the discontent among Dalton residents. Her perceived authoritarian style, coupled with allegations of resource misuse, has left many feeling betrayed by their leadership. Accusations that she leverages law enforcement to suppress dissent have further fueled frustration, creating a climate of fear and mistrust within the community. Among the controversies, the infamous $43,000 Amazon spending spree stands out as a glaring symbol of excess and disregard for fiscal responsibility, widening the divide between Henyard's actions and the needs of the village she governs. As residents call for answers and accountability, one pressing question remains: How much longer can this pattern of governance persist before Dalton reaches its breaking point?
We talked to Tiffany Henyard's landlord, and she says she came to this Thornton Township meeting Tuesday night hoping to get paid what she says she's owed.
Despite mounting controversies and legal battles surrounding her administration, Tiffany Henyard is forging ahead with her re-election campaign, showing no signs of slowing down or stepping aside. Instead, she seems to be doubling down on crafting a larger-than-life persona, drawing comparisons to reality TV stars with her extravagant fashion, glamorous makeup, and relentless self-promotion. Some residents have even speculated that she may be filming a reality show, given the presence of cameras seemingly documenting her every move. To critics, Henyard appears to view the mayor's office not as a platform for public service, but as a stage for personal branding and self-aggrandizement. Public service, but as a stage for her personal drama, complete with a cast of loyalists and an audience captivated by her antics. While this spectacle may entertain some, the real-life consequences for the people of Dalton are far from amusing. Henyard's administration has been marred by accusations of mismanagement and financial impropriety, with one of the most glaring issues being the village's deteriorating fiscal health. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, brought in to assess Dalton's financial situation, issued a scathing report highlighting the sharp decline in the village's general fund since Henyard took office. Once boasting a healthy surplus, the general fund has now plunged into a staggering deficit, prompting questions about the cause of this dramatic financial downturn. Lightfoot's report flagged several red flags, including excessive and poorly documented spending. Tiffany Henyard's administration has been plagued by financial mismanagement, with one of the most troubling issues being the misuse of village credit cards, where receipts were often missing or incomplete, making it difficult to distinguish between legitimate municipal expenses and personal indulgences disguised as public spending. These irregularities have raised suspicions that Henyard is prioritizing her own interests over the village's well-being. Lavish spending on parties, questionable contracts, and personal purchases have only worsened the outrage, and the village's credit card activity has come under intense scrutiny for transactions that seem disconnected from public needs. The cumulative effect of these practices has been disastrous, turning what was once a surplus into a crippling deficit, which many attribute directly to Henyard's leadership, or lack thereof. As she presses forward with her re-election campaign focusing on self-promotion and maintaining a super mayor image, Dalton's residents are left grappling with mounting debts, strained services, and eroded trust in local government. Frustration is growing, and while Henyard builds her celebrity-like persona, the question remains how long this act can continue before the village reaches its breaking point. For the people of Dalton, the consequences of her leadership are casting a long, troubling shadow.
This here because I'm at wit's end, and I fear that I'm going to go into foreclosure soon if I can't get this matter handled.
It's not just financial mismanagement that has residents outraged. Tiffany Henyard is also accused of using the village's police force as her personal security detail, reportedly spending over $1 million in taxpayer money on police overtime to escort her around town, pick up her daughter from school, and even accompany her on shopping trips. This spending, critics argue, protects one individual while the rest of the village is left to fend for itself. One resident speaking at a public meeting expressed frustration, stating that Henyard's priorities seem more focused on her own protection than on the safety of the village. Further controversy erupted when Henyard's self-promotional banners displaying her face and the title Super Mayor were put up without proper approval. When village trustees ordered the removal of the banners, Henyard allegedly called the police and demanded charges against the workers who were taking them down. To make matters worse, the vendor responsible for the banners claims Henyard's administration still owes nearly $20,000 for the signs. This highlights the village's financial turmoil, as Dalton, already deep in debt, cannot even afford to pay for the banners Henyard insists on keeping up, further demonstrating the fiscal irresponsibility and the prioritization of personal image over the needs of the community.
Thornton Township tonight as another board meeting got canceled because of a lack of quorum.
And that came after a disagreement about where to hold the meeting as trustees expressed concerns for their safety.
Despite the ongoing federal investigation into her handling of the village's finances and potential misconduct, Tiffany Henyard appears unfazed, continuing her re-election campaign as if nothing is wrong. Allegedly the subject of an FBI probe, Henyard is being scrutinized for everything from her spending habits to the use of taxpayer dollars for personal expenses, with subpoenas issued and federal agents looking into her actions. Meanwhile, members of the Dolton Board of Trustees, including outspoken critics like Trustee Kiana Belcher, are pushing back against Henyard's alleged authoritarian leadership, accusing her of turning the village into a dictatorship where dissent is punished. Henyard's rivals have even filed lawsuits to balk some of her controversial decisions, such as the appointment of a new police chief, which, they claim, was done illegally. Trustee Jason House, who is running against Henyard in the upcoming election, has also voiced the need for change in the village. Further fueling criticism, Henyard's former landlord has claimed that the mayor owes thousands of dollars in back rent and has even had to change the locks on the property to keep her and her boyfriend out. The landlord, once a friend, has alleged that Henyard used her position to punish opponents, including reportedly giving orders to police to issue citations while the landlord was out of town. In addition, Henyard and her boyfriend are reportedly facing eviction from their Dolton home due to unpaid rent, raising more questions about her financial management and adding to the growing discontent surrounding her leadership. Tiffany Henyard's financial troubles have become a major point of criticism, with many questioning her ability to manage the village's finances when she reportedly struggles to pay her own rent. This controversy surrounding both her personal and professional conduct has sparked heated debates among residents, with one social media commenter bluntly stating, "She's trying to raise her rent money that she's months behind on." This sentiment reflects the frustration of many in Dolton who believe Henyard's priorities are focused more on her own personal gain than on serving the community. Critics argue that Henyard's apparent inability to separate her financial struggles from her public duties has only amplified skepticism about her leadership. Yet, despite mounting evidence of financial mismanagement and accusations of self-interest, Henyard still has a base of supporters who claim that the ongoing controversies are simply part of a coordinated political smear campaign against her. Tiffany Henyard's re-election campaign has become a battleground, with some defending her against accusations of financial mismanagement, claiming that the controversies are part of a coordinated political smear campaign orchestrated by her rivals. One resident, frustrated by the village's predicament, but still supportive of Henyard, expressed their belief that Dolton is not a joke and praised her commitment to upholding moral principles. This statement reflects the deep divide in public opinion within the village, where Henyard's actions have polarized residents. Some see her as a self-serving politician, while others view her as a victim of political sabotage. As more details about her leadership style and decision-making emerge, the divide has only grown wider. Critics point to her alleged misuse of taxpayer dollars, highlighting reports of extravagant spending on village credit cards, parties, and personal indulgences. These actions are believed to have contributed to the village's financial decline, with the general fund plummeting from a surplus of over $5 million to a significant deficit under her leadership. Tiffany Henyard's administration has come under increasing scrutiny, with residents who once supported her now questioning her commitment to the community. Many accuse her of prioritizing the maintenance of her image and personal finances over addressing the pressing issues facing Dolton. The controversy surrounding her unpaid rent has only amplified these concerns, with her landlord filing for eviction and accusing Henyard of changing locks and garage codes to avoid service. This personal financial turmoil mirrors the broader fiscal mismanagement that has plagued Dolton under her leadership. However, Henyard's supporters argue that she has been unfairly vilified and that her achievements, though overshadowed by scandal, deserve recognition. They contend that she has faced relentless opposition from political rivals who have seized every opportunity to undermine her authority. Some residents believe Henyard's bold, albeit unconventional, approach to governance, reflects her determination to fight for her vision of Dalton's future. They argue that her critics overlook the challenges she inherited, and that the village's current predicament is not entirely her fault. Tiffany Henyard's financial troubles are part of a larger, systemic issue that goes beyond her control, and the ongoing battle for public perception has left Dalton in a state of uncertainty. Residents are deeply divided over whether Henyard is the solution to the village's problems or the source of them. The debates have transcended local meetings and social media, becoming a litmus test for trust in leadership and accountability. As Henyard continues to defend herself against accusations and navigate the fallout from her personal and professional controversies, Dalton faces critical questions about its future. Can the village recover from its financial troubles, and will its leaders rise to meet the community's needs? For now, the focus remains on Henyard, a polarizing figure whose actions have sparked both outrage and loyalty. Whether she can turn the tide in her favor or if her critics' voices will prevail remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the debate over her leadership is far from over. As the election approaches, the stakes in Dalton have never been higher. Henyard is fighting tooth and nail to hold on to her position, while a group of determined trustees is working tirelessly to unseat her. This battle represents more than just a local election. It's a struggle for the future direction of the village itself. The high-stakes power struggle surrounding Tiffany Henyard has drawn widespread attention as accusations of financial misconduct, abuse of power, and leadership failures dominate the narrative. Henyard's tenure has been marred by scandal after scandal, with critics pointing to alleged mismanagement of public funds, questionable appointments, and a leadership style that they argue has done more harm than good for the struggling village. The village's financial troubles have become a focal point in this heated debate, with claims that Henyard's administration has overseen a drastic decline in Dalton's general fund balance, plummeting from a surplus of over $5 million in 2022 to a deficit of more than $3 million by 2024. These financial woes have fueled frustration among residents and given her opponents ample ammunition to question her competence and integrity as a leader. Henyard's critics have also accused her of using taxpayer funds for personal indulgences, with reports of extravagant spending on lavish parties, high-end purchases, and questionable credit card transactions. Tiffany Henyard's leadership has been further overshadowed by reports of extravagant spending, including a $443,000 shopping spree on Amazon in a single day, and an $80,000 block party featuring big-name performers like Jay Holiday and Keisha Cole. Critics argue that these events prioritize Henyard's personal image over the community's needs, with many questioning the appropriateness of such spending in a village already grappling with financial difficulties. These actions have sparked heightened calls for accountability and cast doubt on her ability to continue leading Dalton. Meanwhile, Henyard's administration has faced legal challenges, with trustees accusing her of overstepping her authority by making unilateral decisions, including controversial appointments without their approval. This power struggle has intensified into a bitter feud, with trustees alleging that Henyard is running Dalton like her personal fiefdom, using village resources to consolidate power. The discord has spilled into public meetings, which have frequently turned chaotic, prompting intervention from the Illinois Attorney General to address violations of the Open Meetings Act, as venues have been too small to accommodate concerned citizens. Despite these ongoing controversies, Henyard remains defiant, continuing to press forward with her leadership amid mounting opposition. Tiffany Henyard has positioned herself as a staunch fighter against a corrupt system, dismissing her critics as politically motivated adversaries intent on derailing her progress. Her supporters argue that she is being unfairly targeted, claiming that the relentless attacks from her opposition are part of a coordinated effort to undermine her administration. They view Henyard's bold and unconventional leadership as a reflection of her determination to fight for Dalton's future and implement her vision for change. This divide between supporters and detractors has turned the upcoming election into a referendum on Henyard's leadership, with emotions running high on both sides. The stakes are further amplified by federal investigations reportedly scrutinizing her administration's handling of taxpayer funds, adding another layer of controversy to an already contentious political landscape. The federal investigations into Tiffany Henyard's administration have sparked widespread speculation and raised doubts about whether her leadership can withstand the mounting pressure. On one side, Henyard's supporters argue that the opposition shares equal blame for Dalton's struggles, accusing the trustees of obstructing progress and using political tactics to block her initiatives. They see her as a leader who has faced unprecedented challenges and whose efforts have been overshadowed by relentless criticism. Some even compare her resilience to that of a reality TV star, noting her flair for self-promotion and ability to command attention despite the controversies. This polarizing atmosphere has left Dalton residents grappling with a difficult choice. For some, the scandals and financial concerns outweigh any support for Henyard, leading them to call for fresh leadership to restore stability and trust. For others, Henyard represents a defiant figure who has been unfairly vilified and deserves the chance to complete her vision for the village. As the election draws near, both sides are rallying support, making it clear that this battle is far from over. Whether Henyard can secure another term and silence her critics, or whether her opponents will succeed in unseating her, remains to be seen. What is certain is that this election will mark a pivotal moment for Dalton, shaping its future and leaving a lasting legacy for whoever emerges victorious. Do you think Henyard's costly re-election launch party will help her win another term? Or will Dalton residents finally have a voice? Let us know in the comment section below. Remember, you heard it here first. Stay tuned.